Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Tender Gaming. So on this episode, in the last episode I talked a little bit about Civil War and kind of my thoughts, kind of spoiler-free thoughts on it. Whereas this episode, I'm going to be talking a little bit more spoilers, I think. Because again, like, I really hate when reviews and shit come out like the day of a movie, especially like spoiler stuff, because not everybody gets to go see a movie the night of, or the pre-show or whatever. So I like to do kind of reviews maybe a week or two after. Just it gives a chance for everybody to really have a go. So I think enough time's passed that I could talk a little bit, some spoilers and a little bit more in depth with stuff. Oh, what's going on here? Speaking of Civil War, it looks like Hydra's fighting itself. So, yeah, I saw Civil War a couple days ago. Overall, I really liked it. Again, I said this in the last video. I thought it was a fun movie. It did a really good job with its pacing, with the character development and everything like that in it. And you get a really interesting and cool story in it. Kind of a weird thing with it though, and I said this actually to my girlfriend right after we saw it. I was like, no soundtrack. Like, I don't remember any of the music from this movie. And not to say that that makes or breaks a movie, but again, it would have been nice to have kind of a Civil War, CD or something. Now, this isn't my favorite Marvel movie. That still goes to Guardians of the Galaxy. And again, big part of that is it has a cool soundtrack. And I bought that soundtrack. I think I bought it twice. One for my buddy and one for my car. So like when I'm driving around, I feel like Star-Lord. It's awesome. So, again, that's one little kind of side note.
Hold still, Dugan. I'll have you free in a second.
So, okay, so with this movie, again, it has a very good opening. It ties up a little bit of stuff with Winter Soldier, having Cap tracking down Crossbones or Rumlow. It introduces his team, the characters that, have been helping him out. It's not the Avengers, really, because, like, Thor, Hulk, Iron Man, they're not really there. I think it's, Cap, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, Falcon, I'm pretty sure. So they're, basically tracking down Crossbones, and he steals a bioweapon, which they never really explain why, or they don't really do anything with it, and maybe we'll get that in the next Avengers movie or next Cap movie. He just goes to, like, a hospital in Sokovia and steals a bioweapon, like a vial of blood, and they don't really elaborate on that, but whatever. And then you get him obviously dying with him and Cap have that fight, and he said, God, I fucking forget how to play this. I haven't played this in a few days. Yeah, so Rumlow basically blows himself up, and he's planning on taking Cap with him, but what happens is Scarlet Witch puts him in, a red Scarlet Witch bubble and shoots him up into the air, and he basically dies in a building, like blows up part of a building, and oh no, we have another reason to hate the Avengers. We have like a new reason. With New York and I think it's also in Sokovia. Oh, sorry, are they in Rwanda at the beginning? I can't remember. But anyway, wherever they are. So yeah, so she shoots him up into the air, and boo bam, he dies. Another reason to hate the Avengers. You take it. So then you get the Sokovian, basically the Registration Act from the comics. And I'm going to compare this to the comics throughout this, because Civil War, the comic, is one of my favorite Marvel stories. And I was very, very nervous going into this movie with that in the back of my head, because I knew it was going to be a really hard thing for them to really adapt into a cinematic form, especially when you don't have access to all the characters, like the Fantastic Four. It's great that they got Spider-Man in this, though. Or like X-Men and things like that. But, you know, in the comics, it's, again, the kind of catalyst that sets this all off is Nitro. He blows himself up on, like, a reality TV show and takes out, like, part of a town. So it really feels like a big, impactful event. Where in this, it's like, a couple people died, like 11 people died, a couple people were hurt, and oh no. I think they could have done it in a bigger form to really make me buy into this is the straw that broke the camel's back, in a sense. But then you get, you know, General Ross reprising his role from the Incredible Hulk movie. He's basically your Maria Hill in this movie. I thought, again, that was another thing that confused me, because like the way that they used Hill in the Avengers movies, she was kind of like goofy, where in the comic she's like straight up a bitch, and she is out for Cap's blood in Civil War. Again, you didn't get really that. I don't think you got a conflict that big, you know, between S.H.I.E.L.D. hunting down Cap and all that jazz. But again, General Ross, you know, he has a couple scenes in there. He introduces the Sokovia Accord, the whole reason why we're doing what we're doing, and you guys have to sign up or retire is basically what it all comes down to. Now with Iron Man, again, they hit a little bit of the comic with the woman fucking Lily from Star Trek First Contact is standing in a hallway waiting for him, and she basically gives him a picture, and you killed my son, you did this, and you fucking went home, and you didn't care, kind of thing. And now Tony is conflicted. Oh no, am I doing the right thing? We could be doing this better. You know, we have to be put in check, he says. And it makes sense. Like, it totally makes sense. Now, in this movie, it felt a little one-sided, I'll say. Just in terms of, I don't think you got enough of Tony's side. Whereas in the comic, again, you get kind of fair. You get like fair screen time for both characters. And again, it is a comic that makes you think. I've said that before. That's what I love about that comic. I've given that comic to people who have never read a comic before, and it makes you think. And this movie, it was a little bit too kind of black and white. There wasn't enough division just for me. Like, again, with like Fantastic Four, for instance, you really see how this affects, you know, Reed Richards and Sue Storm. And yeah, you get a little bit of that in this, but it wasn't as big or as much as I was hoping for. And you definitely see more of like Cap's side than you do Iron Man's side. But again, it's a fucking Cap movie, so of course you're gonna get that. Now, the big villain in this movie is, I guess, Zemo. He's introduced into here. I will say this, I'm just getting the negative stuff out of the way first because I fucking love this movie. I was not a fan of how they did Baron Zemo. He wasn't even Baron Zemo. He was just Zemo. He was just butt-hurt dad. And his whole character in this movie was, he was a guy from, I believe, Sokovia, and his family died, I'm pretty sure, in the Ultron attack, and he is now out for blood. He's you know, I hate the Avengers. They're the reason my family died, even though they saved the entire world, but whatever, we'll just overlook that. I'm angry. Grr. Ooh, eggs. Oh, that was a side flip, not an egg get. Because, again, for me, Zemo is the guy with the purple mask and the crown. He's, you know, one of Hydra's top dogs. You know, he's almost like Red Skull level of Hydra. And again, you just didn't really get this. I didn't get that in this movie. I didn't get his character coming across that way. And I don't think that's what they were going for, because again, he's kind of a tough character to do. Because Zemo is, Hydra, mega Nazi. He's one of their top scientists, and he's one of those guys who can basically take on the entire Avengers team. So I get it. I get why they didn't go the route that. I get why they went the way they did, but he had this huge Lex Luthor Joker-esque plan for a guy who has no military training, he basically just went onto Google and figured out all this shit, and he put this unstoppable plan together. Even if he got caught, which he does, or gets killed, his plan still works. And again, that's what makes a plan a good plan, is no matter what happens, my plan, I win. And it works. And his plan totally works. Again, I'm just not a huge fan of how they did him. They could have done him better. I love the way that they did Bucky in this movie. You see the conflict in him. They introduce him having the trigger words. The stuff that makes him go Winter Soldier. What makes him lose kind of his humanity and go straight up killer mode. And it works. Again, it shows the conflict in him of a guy who he knows what he's doing, but he can't stop because Hydra has fucked with him so much. And it shows the friendship between Steve or Cap and Bucky. It shows that level of friendship that these two guys have, and that Cap loves this guy. He absolutely loves his, arguably his best friend, and needs to help him because everybody's using him as a pawn, and Cap's kind of had enough. And again, the cool big thing that happens in this movie is Bucky is the guy who kills Tony Stark's family, or his mom and dad at least. And that comes kind of at the end of the movie. And that's one of those things where I saw that coming right when they showed, the first time where Bucky's by the car and he pushes the car into the wall, and you see the kind of recording of it. I was like, he's the guy who kills Tony's parents. Absolutely. A couple more big scenes in this movie, or big kind of moments in this movie. I like how they did Vision and Scarlet Witch's kind of relationship. You can see it kind of blossoming there. Vision, in a way, really cares about this girl, or as much as he can, for being Robot Man. He's making her dinner. He's, there to protect her, or to be the warden. Again, you can kind of see both sides of it. He's a character who's not afraid of her or of her powers, and I think that's the thing that really draws them together. Whether or not they're going to explore their relationship together, who knows? We'll see. Again, with Vision, this was going back to kind of Age of Ultron. I didn't like his design. I still don't. I thought the big thing that they could have done that really would have, to me, just made him look awesome, is get rid of the eyes. Give him almost like Dr. Manhattan eyes. And it would just, I don't know, and for me, seeing Vision, just with human guy eyes, just doesn't look right to me. Maybe that's just the comic book side of me coming out. Because I'm used to Vision with no eyes or pupils or anything like that. He's just kind of robotic face and very static. But again, he's portrayed very well in this movie, and plays his part to a T. He's great in this movie. Black Panther, again, people say Spider-Man steals the movie. I don't think so. Black Panther, I don't think he steals the movie, but I'm interested in seeing the Black Panther movie. After seeing this. So basically, with him, right at kind of near the beginning, his dad, the king of Wakanda, dies, and now he's thrust into this role. He thinks it's Bucky. He thinks Bucky's the guy who killed his dad. And at the end, he finds out, no, Bucky's just been used again, and I'm, by Zemo. And I was, and he was wrong. And he then helps Bucky at the end of this movie, at least in terms of, putting him in, stasis again. But, all his scenes are really cool, and he's not in it a lot, but I think he's in it enough that you get kind of a taste for the character. That he is this reluctant king in a way. He is now the king of Wakanda, and he's also this warrior prince kind of character. We're probably not going to see Storm in the Black Panther movie, which sucks, but whatever. Again, his fight scenes with Bucky and during the airport scene, he doesn't. I don't recall him having a huge part in that fight, because there was so much focus at the time of Spider-Man, swinging around and making all his one-liners and shit. But bam, Shoryuken. There is the chase scene where it starts on the roof, and there's the helicopter kind of chasing Bucky and him around. And again, that's where you really get introduced to him as Black Panther, and it's a cool chase scene. Cars are flying all over the place. It's awesome, and it shows them like running on their feet, and it's like, man, these guys are fucking fast. Like Cap, yeah, Black Panther, yeah, man. Bucky's fast too, but then Bucky gets on the bike and tries to get away that way, and they end up getting caught and so forth. Gotta get these. Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna call it right here. We're gonna continue the second part of my Civil War, mini spoiler review next time. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought of the movie. And again, next part, I'm gonna get into kind of the big finale and the climax of this movie and give my final thoughts on it. So join me next time, and thanks for watching.